Is Music Scene Investigation is on the air. Rich Wildman here with you, everyone. Glad to see you again out in the audience. It's going to be a good time today. I want to let everybody know on today's broadcast, as every week, we bring 3 new songs in front of our panel, and we give our panel the opportunity to review and critique those songs before they know who the artist is, the name of the song, or really anything about the song at all. And by the end of the broadcast, they will select a song of the week. Of course, if they wind up in a tie or can't make a decision, we'll let our live audience do that via our chat window. If you are in the chat, we, of course, would like to hear your input on anything you have to say. And if you don't know where the chat is, on musicsceneinvestigation.com/live or the radio page, at the very bottom of the page, underneath the video or underneath the radio player, you'll see a green link that says open a chat window, and you can click on that to join us in chat. You don't need to sign in or anything. Just join us in there and say what you think. As long as it's nice and complimentary about me. No, I don't care what you say about me. As long as you say something that has to do with the show. It's all good. So anyway, we're going to get things started today by meeting our panelists. We're going to go to Las Vegas first to meet Miss Andrea Bensmiller. Andrea, how are you?
I'm good, Rich. How's everybody?
Doing fine, doing fine. Now, I know the weather out in Vegas is perfect, as always.
It is. We're still waiting for a little bit of winter.
You're not going to get winter in Vegas.
We get a little bit. It gets a little chilly. The wind picks up.
Yeah.
I get out my sweaters and my boots.
You have no need for the boots unless it rains and gets muddy. And even then,
I meant fashion boots.
Oh, okay. All right. You're making a fashion statement, not a weather statement.
Definitely.
So how's everything been going out there in your part of the world? I know that it's been a couple of weeks since we had you on, so I'm sure a lot of things have been going on. Did you get it? Now, I want to know, did you get any of the protests happening in Vegas that have been going on in the rest of the larger cities across the country?
No. Vegas is not a big protest town. We don't really see much of that. And I don't know why that is. I think it's just because we kind of live in our own little world here. Where we're just kind of everybody's doing what they do, and the entertainment thing pretty much takes front and center. So
nothing of that kind went on out in Vegas, and so you guys didn't have to contend with traffic jams from people lining the streets or blocking traffic or anything like that then?
No, we have a hard enough time here with traffic just moving around the the strip area, because it's not a very, very big area, and it's pretty tight. So
yeah, last time I was in Vegas, I think it was 2004, 2005, somewhere in that era, and I remember you could literally just walk through the traffic at any point, any time, and not worry about getting hit on the strip because there are so many cars. Everything was moving so slow at that time. Now, I'm pretty sure I would have gotten a jaywalking ticket if I had them, though.
Yeah, we actually have a bigger problem now with people getting hit on the strip, because it's pretty fast paced moving. It's the street's pretty wide now. It can be a little bit crazy out there, so they discourage jaywalking.
They do.
People get hurt all the time doing that. Especially they've had a few. They're not necessarily walking straight and walk right into traffic. So
yeah,
you hear about a lot of those accidents. But yeah, they're trying to put up enough barriers and stuff like that to keep people safe. So, but it's busy. It's a busy place, and it's picked up a lot since since last year. So it's pretty nuts right now.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad, I always like it when things are getting busy in a city, because that means the economy is going well. And I know Vegas was hard hit by the recession, so as it does better, everybody there does better. That's good.
Definitely.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're back with us, Andrea. And I tell you what, I do want to get together with you at some point, and maybe Ian and James, of course, and have it out over this whole Spotify thing. We started the discussion a couple of weeks ago, but I actually think we could go further into it and expand upon it some.
I want to get together with everyone and record a Christmas show like we did last year.
A Christmas show? Well, we didn't record a Christmas show last year. We did a Lego show last year.
No, we didn't. We done a Christmas show. We all got together and talked nonsense about Christmas for about half an hour.
Do you have nonsense to talk about Christmas, Ian?
Always.
All right. Well, Ian Husbands is in London, England, and with him, very special guest, as always, Mr. John Schroeder is there. So, John, Ian, welcome once again. Glad to see you, John. You're looking good.
Glad to be here, Rich. Yeah, great.
Yeah, it's always great to have you on the broadcast, and I know Ian is tickled to death. He's been talking about you coming over for at least a week or so, and
right.
He really enjoys it when you drop by.
Well, I'm very pleased to do that. I'm also pleased to see Andrea there. I brings Vegas back into my life because I've been there 2 or 3 times. Last time not so long ago, and as she says, it's a nightmare, especially for tourists. Not used to, we can just cross a road in London, and look left and right. You can't do that in Vegas, We came unstuck quite a few times when we went over there, but it's a fantastic place. I don't think I could live there personally, but there you are.
Go on.
I'm glad Andrea really enjoyed
Well, we
it.
were talking about that before the show. Rich was asking, how he can live here, but it's an extreme place, but the trade-off is the music. It really is.
It's the music. There's nowhere else in the world like it. The only place I think that I've been in the world that has had the same nostalgia, but not the same nostalgia, but nostalgia, was New Orleans.
Right.
But that's got the same music connotation, same place that those guys played all those years ago. Fantastic. And after it was sort of brought to desecrated, really, through that tragedy, it was such a shame to music, to me. Anyway. Yes. I'm here now, so I'm real pleased to be here.
Happy times.
Yeah. And like I said, we're glad to have you back with us. Now, I want to know what's been happening with you since we last had you on the show. It has been a long while, far too long in between times you've appeared on the show. So how have you been? How have things been going, and what's been going on?
Well, I've kept myself busy. I have my own company that owns all the past recordings of my own record label, which was formed in 1972, its name being Alaska. And some of the Alaska product is now being re-released digitally for the first time. The big band on my record label, and it was a struggle in those days with a small record label, was a band called Samandi.
Yeah.
Whom you might well know of, because
Absolutely.
Completely unknown, we managed it's the first British black band to have made the top 20 in the Cashbox Top 100 with a song called The Message, and subsequently an album, and the band toured the States with Al Green, and then on their own. And this was about 1972, 73, somewhere around there.
I wasn't even born, John.
But we've made 3 albums, and those 3 albums have substantiated a considerable fan following, which is still in existence today. And a certain record label is just re-released all 3 albums digitally for the first time. So that I've been involved with that. Meanwhile, we've got the band together, found them in all different places. They're all doing different things now. 2 of them are lawyers, believe it or not. And after 40 years of not playing anything, we did our first gig.
Cool.
They've done 4 gigs now and reformed. And we're looking towards next year as to hoping that the 4th album, which I produced about a year and a half, 2 years ago,
it must be now,
is going to actually come out on general release after Christmas next year.
And I haven't heard any samples, and I couldn't tell you it was good, but it is good.
Well, I seem to have talked too much, but anyway,
No.
That's basically what I've been involved with, and to put a band together after 40 years, two of the members having passed away as well.
Yeah.
And and finding the finance to do it. The finance is always a huge headache with making album product, And we did it, and now we've got it. And to actually see them play live gave me a tremendous kick of having found that band in 1972, that they are still playing this stuff and they've got a huge fan following still today.
Yeah, no, I think it's a real shame that there was no one there with a video camera constantly to document that whole process.
Rich, and we made it in America first. England didn't want to know. They didn't want to know. It was America and Europe that really got to grips with that band. And now England has now suddenly realized, oh, these guys are good,
Yeah.
Now, how has it changed in regards to producing and marketing bands, like Samandy in today's music world? I mean, music has changed quite a bit, to be perfectly honest, between the early 70s and now. Has that changed the way you market a band like Samandy getting back together?
Yes, in a number of ways it has, but Samandy is Samandy, and Samandy's big plus is that they are totally original in their concept. They write their own material. They've got tremendous percussive feels. It's a very catchy outfit, and they've got a big fan following. And the fan following are telling families are telling their children, and the word is spread, But to promote the new Samandy album, which we've just made, actually about a year and a half now, is extremely difficult in today's marketplace.
Right.
It's not like the 70s days. You can't go to record companies and get substantial advances to cover your costs anymore. It's just a whole different ball game. And I think promoting the new Samandy is going to come from live gigs, and we're concentrating on getting the band together, doing live gigs. And after 40 years, they've done only 4. So we're looking to next year to doing, but the amazing thing is these gigs that I went to, they were packed. They couldn't move, packed. So, word of mouth gets around about it. Now, they're spreading the word,
Have these live gigs been all exclusive to the UK, or are you planning on some maybe next year in the rest of Europe, maybe the US?
No, they've done 2 gigs in the UK, in London, and they've done 2 in France. They have a big European following.
Oh, excellent.
And they sold out in 2 gigs in France. I can't remember where they were now, but they were quite substantial places with about, 1,500 to 2,000 people, perhaps.
Yeah.
Which is quite something for a band that haven't played together for 40 years, 30, 35 years.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's been my vacation since I last saw you, Rich, and it's been a hell of a road, actually, putting it all together and getting them together and, and all the rest of it. But, it's all there still. The magic is still there after all that time.
I spoke with Sam, and he said that he was really enjoying the gigs they've done.
Yeah.
So it's going really, really well.
Oh, I'm glad.
Sam Kelly, the drummer, that is, from Samandy.
Good.
All right, now, before we get to the music, I do want to ask Ian a question, because Ian has some unfinished business that he needs to take care of before we can listen to some new music. We got to talk about the witness statements from last week, Ian.
Yes, we must.
Yeah, we had Katie Perkins to Love Me as the song of the week, and Misho with Essenza and Sam Lumsden with Into the Light is what the panelists heard last week. What did the witness statements reveal, Ian?
Well, let me just clarify one point. I didn't go with the majority last week.
No,
I was
did not.
outvoted by 2-1. I went for song 3, Into the Light by Sam Lumsden, and Tommy and James went for To Love Me by Katie Perkins. And just to clarify the point, the public went with me. I'm afraid, guys, I'm still the public person, the people's person here. Best songwriting, 75% of the votes. Best performance, 67% of the votes. And best mix and production, 67% of the votes. For song 3, Sam Lumsden. My choice, ladies and gentlemen, So as long as the public love me, that's all that matters.
All right. Well, Ian next week is going to be sitting a lot closer, appearing to be sitting a lot closer to the camera because his head is going to get bigger between now and then, I'm sure. Now,
I'll tell you what, if I'm sat here next week, something's horribly wrong because this is our last show for 2014, Rich.
You're right. It is the last show for 2014, but I think you should actually sit in front of a camera so everybody can see whether your head actually gotten bigger or not.
Just saying, man. I'm just saying.
Now, one thing...
It's always been that way.
And I'd like to put a quick plug. I've got a new video out on YouTube in association with Taylor's Coffee, who I'm drinking now. Go and check that out when you get a second.
It's actually a very good video. I did see that, and I think it'd be a great television commercial, in my opinion.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right. Now, in the chat room, for John, Pinky's saying it's hard to make money with live gigs, insurance, security, permits for live music. It eats all into the bottom end, and not much of a way around it, is there?
Perseverance and belief in what you're doing. And, if it's there, it'll find a way. But I have to say this, in England at the moment, I think the country is dominated by this TV show called X Factor. It runs the whole place where they find new talent and so on. And, and they have it week after week after week, 3 or 4 times a year.
I take it you're being sarcastic when you said the word talent.
Well, yeah. I have to say, I'm one of the old boys. I'm one of the old school, and to me, the music industry today is nothing like the music industry of my time. It was exciting. It was just challenging. It was so different, But I'm proud that the bands that I produced during the '60s, I'll name one, the Status Quo, that are still seen and playing today all over the place. And there are these, as Andrea mentioned, I think almost didn't use the word, but tribute bands that play,
bands.
Are formed from the main bands, and they're playing that band's music that someone like me as a producer produced 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of plus for me. I feel very exhilarated by what I've done in the past.
If we could get back to those times, we'd be walking back to happiness, John.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, 50p, are you there?
Yeah, thank you.
I see what you did there. All right.
Yeah, when he's mentioned the word walking back to happiness, he's got to pay me some money for the use of it.
50p, that is how we know hang about.
There you are. We're going to get this transaction there on tape here.
Live on air. I'll give you £1. How about that? Yeah.
Oh, thank you. It's because I wrote, if you didn't know, it's because I wrote the song.
Absolutely.
It went to #1 and won me and Mike Hawker, my partner at the time, the Ivor Novello Award, which was the biggest song of the year in 1961.
Absolutely. And
you just want you keep it, man. Keep it. I owe you that.
That's true. He does owe you that. That's very true. All right. Now, we do have some music to listen to. Maybe we can find the next big thing here so nobody has to pay attention to the X Factor ever again. You never know. I'm not holding my breath, but hey, it's worth a shot, right? All right, so let's go ahead and let's take a listen to song #1 on the broadcast today. Here it is, everybody. This is song #1 on today's Music Scene Investigation.
Steps walking hard on the crossing city is big enough for you to lose yourself in the crowd. All you gotta do is climb away. All you gotta do is fight your way. All you gotta do is ride and shine for you and stand through all your fears. Just read the subway walls and through the darkest times. Are you will shine? Well, destinations say resurrection. Ambitions are your desire. All you gotta do is rock the play. All you gotta do is fight your way. All you gotta do is ride and shine for you and stand through all your scares. Just climb the standing walls and through the hardest times. Yeah, you will shine for you. And through the hardest times, it's all you gotta do.
That is song number 1 on today's broadcast. So let's find out what our panel thought about that. Let's go over to Ian and John first to get their thoughts on it. Gentlemen, what do you think about track number 1? You want to go ahead and start, Ian?
Okie dokie, yeah. Good start here, I think. There's a good song. There's some good production going on. There's some talent there. There's definitely some talent there. I like the sonic landscape that they sort of built with that delay guitar, very sort of reminiscent of U2. A bit of an excess in there for me as well, with that sort of almost an 80s cult sort of, the cult and The Cure as well, sort of little aspects of that creeping in too. So there's a lot of good influences going on there. I felt that the production was pretty strong across the board, except for those toms on the drum kit. They sounded flat and dull, and there was a couple of really nice rolls that drummer done in there, which just sort of went thud, 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 thud. And there was no roundness of sound or production on the drums in general, from my opinion. The bass was quite dominant. Liked the tone of the bass. I just did feel it stuck out a lot. And those vocals kept getting walked on by the guitars. So from a mix point of view, needs to level out. As an arrangement, it was safe. In my opinion, it didn't really go anywhere. It was sort of verse, chorus, break, outro. And, I think they could have been a bit more adventurous with that. It's one of those songs that there's not a lot to say that's bad about it, but from my point of view, it didn't grab me as well as I'd like to have done. I don't think the hook was developed enough. I think that needs a bit more attention on the chorus, just to drag you in a bit more. But otherwise, a good track.
All right. And your thoughts, John?
On the whole, I have to agree with Ian. I think I don't like using the word dated, but as a production, I think it was pretty good. Somewhere in there, for me, there's a song that needs to come out. There's not enough light and shade. It's dominated by a massive arrangement. And I got my ears listening more to what was going on in the background, instrument-wise, than to the lead vocal. If I saw the band, it might have a different meaning for me. But to listen to it, it's such a wall of sound going on from beginning to end. It's too much in your face. To me, it needs to be more light and shade. I want to hear a little bit more rhythm and hear more of what the song is and what the guy's singing about. It's dominated by almost every 4 bars of putting something in it for the sake of putting it in. And I've never sort of believed in that type of production. But saying that, I think it is quite a well put together record.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Over to Andrea. Andrea, what do you think about track number 1?
Yeah, I have pretty much the same thing to say that the guys did. I like the track. It's really well produced. I like all the tones on the track. The bass, really nice tone. The guitar tone's really nice. Love the effects. The vocal sits really well until the chorus kicks in, and the vocals and the guitars are really kind of fighting for space. And it took me a while just to figure out what the hook was on the lyric, because I couldn't really understand it, till later in the song, where they maybe edged it up a little bit. Yeah, I hear so many influences of this too. Everybody's mentioning U2. I hear like a 70s kind of retro rock song. It's really well done. I think the only issue I really see is that, like John said, there's no contrast anywhere in the tune. It starts and it rolls and it keeps going and it builds, but it doesn't have a lot in terms of that, a drop sometimes that you might expect, and in the hook itself, in the melody over the chorus, you've got such a long chorus with so much lyrical content that the hook itself gets lost. I personally am really drawn to songwriting that makes that hook really, really obvious. Sometimes it seems simplistic, but when you have a lot of words and a lot of melody and the hook at the end, it's a little bit harder to get attached to it. And so that was a little bit, weak for me in terms of the songwriting. But good band. I think the band is great. Nice and tight, well played, well produced. Some fixes in the mix, definitely. Things were a little pronounced. Bass is hot. Bass is hot. Guitars are hot. But good track. I like it.
All right, very cool. I appreciate it, guys and gal. Let me introduce the track. The name of track number 1 is called Shine, and it is by Sonic Rade. We appreciate Sonic Rade sending Shine in for our panel to take a listen to. If you'd like your music in front of our panel, go to musicsceneinvestigation.com and click on Submit a Song right on that page. Follow the information, follow the guidelines there, radio friendly, not over 5 minutes and all that good stuff. And we'll get your music in front of our panel starting in the new year. Of course, we're taking the month of December off so I can rebuild a studio and you guys can enjoy your holidays. We'll be back in the first of the year for the rest of everything else that is anything else in regards to great indie music. I had 2 more songs to take a listen to right now, so let's get right to it with song number 2 on the broadcast. This is track number 2 on today's Music Scene Investigation. Enjoy it, everyone.
Not every baby growing Stick to the program. A generation's length away from being automated. Social media sold. A world so driven by the pressures just to be accepted. Have we lost control? They say. Stick to the program.
That is song number 2 on the broadcast today, and we're going to start this round out with Andrea, find out what she thought about it before we get to the guys across the pond. Andrea, your thoughts on track number 2? I noticed you bebopping to that track.
Oh God, in my world, it doesn't really get much better than this. It was just outrageously amazing. I loved everything about it. Amazing players. It takes me so much back to Berkeley, where you have this kind of level of playing encouraged and you're hearing it all the time. And, sometimes you hear it in ways there where it's not quite right. And here it is just so right. First of all, I love the style. I love R&B mixed with this kind of high-end jazz playing that's all about the musicianship and all about just great tone and solid locked in playing that, just, it really shows you what kind of music real intensely, committed musicians make when they get together. The drums were tight. I know there were some comments in the chat room about there not being a lot going on in the drums. There could be more. I thought it was placed pretty perfectly for the style. You wouldn't want something that sounds like fusion on this track in the drums. This is an R&B track. It's the groove is R&B. The details that you get out of those super tight fills, those extra, bits of musical ear candy, like the time change in the chorus with the bass riff. Just, those things they're supposed to stand out because it's still basically about the groove. I love her voice. Love it. Gorgeous voice. Incredible backing vocals with those super, super tight, nice jazz harmonies. I love the hook. I think the hook was great. There's really not a whole lot I can say. I thought the bridge, when I saw it coming in at 5:52, I thought, please don't let this be 5:52 of horror because you just don't know. And I thought the bridge, honestly, I could have taken or left it. It was nice. It was nice atmosphere. I like what they did with it musically. I love that wash of guitars and the space that they gave it. And the bass was so grooving during that part. Is it too long? I don't know. It kind of depends on what your market is. It's not uncommon for people in the jazz or jazz R&B world to have longer tracks. So, yeah, this really hit it out of the park for me. I loved it. You might have noticed that I was kind of grooving here, and that usually means that I'm pretty locked into something. So totally dug it. Totally dug it.
All right. I think the only reason you weren't up dancing around is because you had a seatbelt on, but hey, that could be just me. Ian
the
and
cables are
John,
long enough in the headphones.
Yeah.
there you go. Ian and John, what do you guys think? John, your thoughts?
Well, I can appreciate and understand what Andrea is saying, but for me, it's the totally opposite, because for this market over here in the world that I've lived in and listened to and all this, my mind centers upon the selling issue of this product and people universally getting to know it and love it and so on. And to me, it's a track for individual connoisseurs, as Andrea liked this and like that and like that about it. But overall, to me, I'm afraid it didn't do anything for me at all. As a saleable track, if you like, commercially, I couldn't get together with a rhythm that was substantiated. To me, the vocal was out on one limb. Sure, I mean, you go into individual musicianships and all the rest of the thing and pull it apart and so on. I can appreciate what Andrea is saying, but as a total piece of music put out here in England, I don't think it would get anywhere. I don't think it would even get any airplay, to be honest with you.
I mean, from my point of view, there's a lot of good stuff going on here. The production value is fantastic. Like the sounds that are being used. Love the addition of the horns. That really, really worked. I like the girl's voice. I think she's very talented. I liked the sort of groove of the song, but rhythmically there was something going on which I could not get my head around. Something wasn't right. There was a guitar which was kind of, I don't know if it was been reversed or something like that, sort of just doing some choppy sort of in the background on the verses to start with, and that sounded slightly out of tune and slightly out of rhythm. There was points where the drums and the bass were just kind of playing a slightly different groove and not locking. And for me, the groove in this style of music needs to come from the bass and the drums being locked so tight that they're on that groove constantly together. The bass seemed to keep the groove better than the drum track did, in my opinion. And I mean, I wasn't worried so much about there being not so many fills or stuff like that. I don't know if those drums were programmed. I've got a feeling they were. The snares sounded very consistent. As much as it was a nice drum sound, again, I just don't. It sounded like someone had sort of tried to force the timing a little bit in places with a bit of quantization that wasn't quite right. It was actually pushing it off feel, or pushing the bass on beat and the drums off beat, or something along that sort of line.
Would you say it was sort of self-indulgent?
At 5:42, yeah, I think it is a little bit self-indulgent. I think you could have lost a little bit out there, done a single cut single edit at least. If you want to do a long song, that's great. That's your album edit. But at least do a single edit that's, around 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes long at the most. As I said, there's a lot of great stuff going on here. Very well produced in many aspects. Great performances. But as I said, I could not find a solid groove on this. It's there, but I didn't feel everything was tight enough around it to pull me into it.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. The name of this track, it's called The Program, and it's by a group called Soul Safari, and we appreciate Soul Safari sending that track in to Music Scene Investigation. All right, before we get on to it, gentlemen, I want to remind everybody that the end of the show, you guys have to select a Song of the Week, which will go on to vie for our Band of the Month come January. So you guys got a lot to do, a lot of responsibility on your shoulders.
Seems like a long time away, Richard.
It does. It's a month away, but we've also got our yearly awards happening January 11th. You want to tune in for that. It's going to be a live broadcast. Should be a lot of fun. Of course, get your votes in at musicsceneinvestigation.com. You can vote once per day for your favorite panelist and your favorite artist.
Vote for me.
You're not in the competition, Ian. You're one of the guys hosting the competition.
Yeah.
Every week we go through the same thing. You're never going to budge on this.
No, I'm not.
You can vote for John.
You can vote for John. You can vote for Andrea. You just can't vote for you.
She's part of the team now. What's this about?
Yeah, but you can't vote for you.
No.
Yeah, I don't think I'll get any votes, so I'm not worried. Either way.
Right. Favoritism.
That's reverse psychology right there. I don't think I'm going to get any votes, so I'm not worried either way. And she'll wind up getting a bunch of votes now. Whereas Ian here won't get any votes because he's not in the list of people you can vote for anyway.
People on Twitter seem to want me to be nominated. I'm just saying.
I think everybody who wants to vote for Ian should vote for John or Andrea.
Absolutely right.
Take your pick. So, all right, one more song to listen to. Here it is. This is song number 3 on the broadcast today, everybody. Enjoy song number 3 on today's Music Scene Investigation.
Says she's just not right for me, just a little too cold and hard to please. He says I could be so big and that's it, yeah, that's my bright idea. Had the whole world at his feet, a killer deal but incomplete. He says I could be so big and he tells me every time we meet, he says I just wanna have my say and it's my way or the highway. He said, I could have been so big but I just wasn't feeling it that day. And he's the architect of his own demise. When it's in your hands you got to hold on tight. Yeah, he's the architect of his own demise. He chose to hold their hands as they rocked him out. Yeah. Says she's just not right for me, just a little too cold and hard to please. He says I could be so big and that's it, yeah, that's my bright idea. That's my bright idea. That's my bright idea.
That is song number 3 on the broadcast today. Short and sweet, but to the point. And we're going to go back to the guys, starting with John, find out what they thought about it. Gentlemen, track number 3 over to you.
More in my bag, I'm afraid to say. I think it's simple, well put together, really. Got a very identifiable intro. You know it's that song, that record, or whatever, by the sounds that they've got in it. The song builds. I couldn't understand all the words. I wasn't listening to that particularly as far as that's concerned. But overall, I thought it was very pleasant and well put together. 2.5 minutes of music, probably.
All right, Ian?
Ukuleles of the world unite. We like that. It's got ukulele on it. We like ukuleles. Yeah, very happy, upbeat little sing-along song. Really like the feel of it. Liked the openness of the drums, that natural feeling to them drums. Like, you know, it's just been recorded in a room somewhere. It sort of adds to that sort of folky feel that's going on with the rest of the track. Nice big chorus, lots of nice BVs. As Tommy said in the chat, they could have come up a little bit and just sort of sat with that vocal. And there were places where the sort of strumming kicked in on the choruses and stuff like that, where the vocal did get pulled out a little bit. And I would like to have heard that just up in the mix, just to sort of bring it out, because it's got a strong message. I like the songwriting. I love the simplicity of the chord structure. You feel like you know it as soon as you start to hear it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, it's got that sort of almost Beatlesque quality to it in that sense.
It's very listenable, isn't it?
It's listenable. And you sort of come away from, you know, not thinking, oh, that was hard to listen to. You're thinking, that's actually quite nice. I've enjoyed listening to that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, mix-wise, I think, again, there's a nice openness to it, which gives it a nice acoustic, folky feel. But I do think maybe them drums could have been tightened, the bass could have been compressed a little bit more. Everything seemed a little bit too open for my liking. But that really is a personal thing in production.
Yeah, could be mixed a little bit more.
Yeah, just a bit tighter. And I think, you know, with the production values we have these days, use it.
Yeah.
All right, and over to Andrea we go. Andrea, how about track number 3? What did you think of it?
Yeah, you know, I liked it. It's you hear a lot of this kind of music in American radio right now. There are so many artists that if I had to list them right now, I don't know that if I could, that do this kind of, you know, peppy, up-tempo, catchy, good enough vocals, not great vocalists, but good vocals, singer-songwriters that, you know, they can put together the song pretty well, and it's got an acoustic feel to it. It's, you know, it's a catchy tune. I like the hook. I like the lyrical build that got to the hook, this architect idea, and then we get to that's my bright idea as the hook. It was really, really well written. You know, like Ian was saying, it's a, you know, decent enough production, nice and open, you know, not a whole lot going on, not a lot of mess or, you know, too much layering that gets in the way of it. I would have liked I spend a lot of time around ukuleles right now. It's one of the things we teach at the school. It's very, very big in America right now. I am kind of a stickler about the ukulele actually being in tune, because they can be very annoying sound after a while. So I think that some extra tuning could have happened there. But you know, all in all, it's a good tune. It's a good solid production of the tune. I would say that in the sea of music out there just like this, that might be your challenge. You know, there's just an awful lot of stuff right now that sits in this category and that sounds very, very much alike. So to me, that would be the downside of this particular track.
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
Andrea.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Ian, I know you. Go ahead.
For Andrea.
And there we have it.
There you are. There you are. All right. Yeah. The name
for weddings, bar mitzvahs, funerals.
Yeah, exactly.
Pay him a session fee, you'll do it.
There you go. Song number 3 is called Big Idea, and that is by a group called Weird Naked Indian, and we appreciate their sending that track into Music Scene Investigation. All right, before you get to a decision of Song of the Week, I want to take this opportunity to remind everybody that this song will again go into our hit list competition at the second Wednesday of January for the new year. And that hit list is brought to you by Landar.com, Landr.com. Mastering made easy on the internet. Yes, that's right. You can go to Landar.com. Try it for yourself. Click on the link under the live window at MusicSceneInvestigation.com. And you'll get 2 free uncompressed WAV file masters of your music, along with an unlimited number of 192 kilobit compressed MP3 masters of your music, just so you can see if it will work for you and your music, as I'm sure many, many other musicians and bands have already done. Our winner of the hit list will receive a 1-year pro account, entitling them to uncompressed waves for 1 whole year, as many as they want, along with as many compressed MP3 compressed MP3 masters as they want as well. So go to Landar.com, try it for yourself, see if it will work for your music. I certainly hope it does. I know Ian's tried it and he likes it. So
I do like it. Their intense setting is probably too intense and probably something I'd never use. But their medium compression levels and their low compression levels do bring a nice edge to a track.
All right, very good. Now we want to also get everyone's opinion on what you think the song of the week should be, and we're going to bring those results to you next week. Go to MusicSceneInvestigation.com/witness, and if you're in the chat room, hang out there. Let us know what song you think needs to be song of the week as we listen to and hear what our panelist vote is for song of the week. Gentlemen and lady, I will turn it over to you for your thoughts and your vote.
What are you rating, John?
For me, it's the last song, number 1.
Number 3.
So the last song we heard.
Yeah, number 3.
Number 3, number 1, and then number 2.
So you're going for song 3 is what you're telling us?
Sorry?
You're going for song number 3 is what you're telling us?
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Andreas? I'll be a gentleman and say ladies first.
Yep, absolutely.
This is a rough choice, because I think it comes down to stylistically what you like from me in the 2 top choices.
Yeah.
John had mentioned earlier, doesn't really see track 2 in a market or on radio. It probably wouldn't land on radio in America either, but there actually is a market for this music in the US right now. There's a few high-end bands that are doing it. As inaccessible as it might seem to the average person, there are quite a number of people who actually are really into this music. So it's hard to say based on that. The number 3, does it immediately land on radio? Yeah, definitely. But like I said, to me, it sounds like so much like a million other songs that I've heard on the radio right now that puts us back into what we were talking about last week, which was, why does everything have to be a copycat thing right now? So I'm going to go with number 2, because I just think, the musicianship really turned me on, and I like the originality of it. So I'm going to go with number 2, and that leaves you as the tiebreaker, Ian.
He's either a tiebreaker or a tie maker. We don't know which.
I'm a tie fighter.
Yeah, you saw that new darn Star Wars trailer.
New Star Wars trailer is excellent. It's better than the prequel, all 3 films put together in about 44 seconds. Did I say that out loud?
Yeah, you did. All right.
Okay, I'm going to be a tiebreaker. I'm going to have to go with my noble friend, Mr. John Schroeder here. I took issue with the groove on number 2. Everything was great, but I could not get over what was going on rhythmically with that. Number 3, it just left me feeling good, and I can hear it everywhere, basically, adverts, especially in this country. So number 3 for me, I go with my esteemed colleague here,
All right. Well, there you have it. In a split decision, song number 3, Bright Idea by Weird Naked Indian, or WNI as I'm more comfortable saying.
I think Weird Naked Indian also gives him a merit for winning.
It depends on what their stage costume is.
He told me to put on the gig and they will come.
All right. Well, there you go. Congratulations to Weird Naked Indian on becoming our Song of the Week with Bright Idea. And thanks again to everybody who sent their music into the show today. John, of course, we love having you join us each and every time you can. I know you've been awfully busy, but I hope you can join us again very soon.
Well, thank you so much for having me on the program again. I really did enjoy it. I love talking to you guys. And I can wish you a very happy Christmas and look forward to a new year.
Oh, absolutely. The same to you, and we really appreciate that. And
should we have a quick sing song? We wish you a Merry Christmas. No. Let's
get out your ukulele first.
Yeah, you got to tune it.
I'd have to tune it first. Come on.
And Andrea and Ian, thank you, of course, for being here every week and every other week. Each time you got, whatever, Ian. And everybody out in the audience, thanks to you for being here as well. We certainly hope you come back and join us at the beginning of next year, when we'll be back on every Sunday of that year, hopefully, and everything will go well. Of course, the award show again on the 11th of January. You want to make sure you're here for that. That is going to be a live broadcast. Should be a lot of fun. And you never know. We may wind up with some Christmas thing. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a free-for-all over Spotify.
No, we will do something for Christmas in some way. Even if it's just we put Rich in a Santa's hat and sit Tommy on his knee or something.
No, we're not putting Tommy on my knee. No, not going to happen. I'm just saying. It just won't happen. Let's play out with Bright Idea by Weird Naked Indian here on Music Scene Investigation. Thanks for being with us, everyone. We'll talk to you again next time right here on MSI. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you all.
Says she's just not right for me, just a little too cold and hard to please. Says I could be so big and that's it, yeah, that's my bright idea. Had the whole world at his feet, a killer deal but incomplete. Says I could be so big and he tells me every time we meet, he says I just wanna have my say, and it's my way or the highway. I could have been so big, but I just wasn't feeling it that day. And he's the architect of his own demise. When it's in your hands, you got to hold on tight. Yeah, he's the architect of his own demise. He chose to hold their hands as they rocked. Says she's just not right for me, just a little too cold and hard to please. Says I could be so big and that's it, yeah, that's my bright idea. That's my bright idea. Thank you.